Chosen One, I need you to stop, right now. Do not scroll past this message. This is not some random algorithmic coincidence on your feed today. A massive energetic collision just occurred in the spiritual realm, and it bears your exact signature. I am talking about a tectonic shift in your timeline. You need to listen closely. Something profound shifted in the atmosphere just moments ago. You probably felt it in your own body. Maybe your chest suddenly tightened, or your ears began to ring for no apparent reason. That was not physical exhaustion, and it was not normal anxiety. That was the literal shockwave of your new spiritual authority locking into place. The waiting season is completely over. But here is the absolute truth that heaven wants you to know right now. Funny how everyone pretended they did not see you coming. The same people who mocked your kindness are suddenly feeling incredibly restless. They thought they had permanently broken your spirit when they left you in the dark. They thought you would simply fade away quietly. They were wrong. Right now, an undeniable wave of panic is sweeping through the enemy camp. The individuals who plotted against your downfall are currently suffocating under the weight of their own karma. They can feel that you have crossed a threshold they cannot follow you into. You did not just heal from their toxic betrayal. You mutated into a weapon of pure light. This brings us to the ultimate divine revelation. You have officially passed the final test. But you did not just pass it like an ordinary soul. You just became something entirely above the original design. You stepped into the realm of the anomaly. The universe is handing you the literal keys to bend reality to your absolute will. But I must warn you before we go any further. There is a hidden mechanism inside this massive upgrade that you must understand immediately. It is a secret protocol regarding your new power. If you swipe away from this video right now, you will completely miss it. The blessing has already arrived, but you will lack the spiritual equipment to actually hold it. The darkness desperately wants you to get distracted. It wants you to click away and return to your heavy burdens. Because if you do not know how to steer this new frequency, it will simply bypass you. You will be left wondering why the promised miracle slipped right through your fingers. Do not let them win this final battle. Stay right here with me. Take one deep and slow breath right now. Let that incredible realization settle deep into your spirit. You are no longer the empath who constantly begged to be understood. You are a completely different entity now. The shift that just happened has rewritten your entire destiny, and the very same people who desperately tried to destroy your reputation are now forced to sit back and watch your undeniable rise to power. I need you to promise your future self that you will stay until the very last second. What I am about to expose will fundamentally change how you walk through this earth. It will decode every single tear you cried over the past 12 months. The confusion is about to be violently ripped away from your eyes. You are standing on the precipice of pure glory. Do you feel that sudden rush of heat in your hands? That is your intuition, confirming that every single word I speak is the absolute truth. Heaven specifically routed this urgent transmission to your screen today. You are the chosen one who survived the hardest battles completely alone. And now your divine compensation is being violently released. Listen carefully to the frequency of my voice. The elite forces that tried to drain your energy are terrified of this exact moment. They knew that if you ever woke up to your true identity, their game would be over forever. Well, the alarm clock just rang across the spiritual dimensions. Your soul has completely awakened. Your power is fully online now. But remember the fatal trap that I mentioned earlier. There is a very specific reason why this massive shift had to be hidden from you until today. A massive secret lies at the very center of your new authority. If you do not learn the exact nature of this power, the enemy will try to steal it back tonight. You must protect this divine download. Do not move a single muscle. Do not let your mind wander to your earthly problems. Those problems are already dead in the spiritual realm. The financial struggles and the deep loneliness, were just temporary illusions meant to build your spiritual muscles. And those muscles are about to be put to the ultimate test in the coming days, because heaven is demanding your full attention. You are probably asking yourself why the universe chose you for this heavy burden. You are wondering why you had to endure so much agonizing pain while others lived so easily. I am going to answer that exact question for you right now. The explanation will shatter everything you thought you knew about your past. It will validate every sleepless night. Let us talk about what has been happening to your body lately. You are completely exhausted. Your bones feel heavy, and no matter how many hours you sleep, you wake up feeling like you ran a marathon in your dreams. The physical drain is absolute. You find yourself staring blankly at the wall, just feeling an intense emptiness inside your chest. It gets worse at night. 3 in the morning arrives and your eyes snap open. Your mind starts racing with random thoughts and strange memories. You feel a bizarre tightness in your shoulders. The world has told you that this is just stress or modern anxiety. They gave you a clinical label and told you to just relax. But they do not understand the spiritual realm. Listen to me carefully. What you are experiencing right now is not a sickness. It is not depression, and it is certainly not a mental breakdown. You are not going crazy. That immense pressure you feel in your head is actually the physical aftermath of a massive frequency upgrade. Your human vessel is currently expanding to hold a terrifying amount of divine light. When a chosen one receives a sudden ascension upgrade, the physical body always lags behind the spirit. Your cellular structure is literally vibrating at a completely new speed. It takes enormous amounts of energy to rewire your nervous system for the kingdom-level authority you just inherited. That emptiness you feel is just space being cleared out. This is exactly why you suddenly cannot stand being around certain people anymore. Shallow conversations drain the life out of you instantly. You step into a crowded room and immediately want to leave. Your spiritual antennas have become so deeply sensitive that you can feel the hidden intentions of everyone around you. It is entirely overwhelming. Do not fear this intense sensitivity. It is your new internal compass. If this resonates deep within your soul, I need you to perform a small physical action right now. Tap the like button as an act of agreement with what God just spoke to your spirit. Let that simple movement be the anchor that grounds your physical body to this divine truth. The extreme fatigue is just the symptom of shedding your old timeline. You carried the heavy burdens of your bloodline for decades. You absorbed the toxic trauma of everyone who leaned on you. And now heaven is forcefully extracting that ancient poison from your cells. Of course, you feel incredibly tired. You are undergoing a spiritual surgery without any anesthesia. They called you overly sensitive. They said you care too much. But your deep empathy was never a flaw. It was the exact diagnostic tool required to survive the darkness. You absorbed the heavy blows so your spirit could learn the distinct texture of evil. And now your system is purging all of that accumulated residue. You might feel like you are losing your mind because your old reality no longer fits. The hobbies you used to love now feel completely meaningless. The goals you chased last year seem entirely irrelevant today. This profound disorientation is a mandatory phase of the shift. You are currently floating in the void between two massive timelines. Do you remember those moments when you felt completely dizzy for no reason? You would just be standing in your kitchen and suddenly the room felt like it tilted. That was not a medical issue. That was your soul recalibrating to a much higher dimensional frequency. You were literally stepping out of the survival matrix and entering the state of pure creation. Your physical vessel has been acting as a massive lightning rod. You took the energetic hits for your entire family tree. You processed the generational grief that your ancestors ignored. And because you volunteered for this painful physical mission, the universe is now releasing a flood of divine compensation into your life. The physical pain is transforming into spiritual currency. Take a deep breath and give your body some grace. Stop forcing yourself to operate at the same aggressive pace as the sleeping masses. The matrix demands constant hustle, but the kingdom demands divine rest. Your spirit is doing heavy lifting in the unseen world, while your body rests on the bed. You are fighting massive battles while remaining completely still. Pay close attention to your body over the next 3 days. The random ringing in your right ear is the sound of your spirit guides downloading new instructions. That sudden chill down your spine is the removal of a demonic attachment that has followed you for years. Every strange sensation is a direct confirmation of your absolute victory. But this physical purge is only the beginning. The reason your body is reacting so violently is because of what you just left behind. You see, the universe did not just upgrade you for no reason. You were forced into this intense transformation because of the specific enemies you recently faced. And what those enemies did to you is about to be exposed. You always blamed yourself for how they treated you. You thought your love was not enough to fix them. You thought your frequency was too low. But the actual truth behind their betrayal will leave you entirely speechless. Heaven is about to vindicate your name in front of the very people who tried to destroy your reputation. You spent years believing that you were the fundamental problem. You gave them your purest love. You offered them your endless patience. But they still chose to betray your trust and leave you entirely broken. And because you possess such a beautiful heart, you naturally internalized all of their toxic behavior as your own massive failure. They convinced you that you were just too needy. They called you crazy for demanding basic respect. They systematically dismantled your fragile confidence. The narcissistic entities in your life worked overtime to make you feel completely worthless while you were just trying to love them unconditionally. But I am here to brutally shatter that demonic illusion right now. You were heavily deceived. You were never targeted because you were weak. You were targeted because your spiritual frequency was absolutely blinding. When a chosen one enters a room, their pure light violently exposes the demons hiding in other people. The narcissist did not look at you and see an easy victim. They looked at you and saw a terrifying mirror. Your very existence forced them to confront their own ugly darkness. They could not manipulate your core truth. They could not digest your divine authenticity. So they panicked and launched a calculated attack to extinguish your flame before it could expose their entire masquerade. Their cruelty was never about your lack of actual worth. It was always about their desperate survival. They knew that if you ever realized your true power, their control over you would instantly vanish. So they kept you completely confused. They kept you begging for crumbs of affection while you were secretly holding the keys to the entire kingdom. You were a master disguised as a blind beggar. Heaven watched you endure this relentless abuse. The universe saw how you poured your sacred energy into bottomless pits. And eventually God had to violently intervene on your behalf because your bright soul was slowly dying in that dark environment. The painful separation you experienced was not a tragic loss at all. It was a divine extraction protocol designed to save your precious life. The tearing away felt like absolute agony. Your human heart broke into a million tiny pieces. You cried on the cold floor, wondering what you did wrong to deserve such harsh treatment. But the spiritual reality is that heaven was forcibly amputating a deadly infection from your timeline before it could destroy your destiny. You did not lose them. You finally escaped them. Those low-frequency individuals were parasites attached to your radiant aura. They fed off your glorious light because they had absolutely no light of their own. Every time they made you cry, they selfishly drank your divine energy to sustain their miserable existence while giving you absolutely nothing in return. You were literally keeping them alive with your profound grace and endless mercy. But the feast is finally over. The umbilical cord of trauma has been completely severed. You have stopped explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And the moment you stopped feeding them your precious energy, Their entire reality began to slowly collapse because they lost their primary source of spiritual food. They are currently starving in the absolute dark. This is your ultimate vindication. You do not need to seek revenge against those who wronged you. Your permanent absence is the most devastating punishment they will ever experience. They are now wandering through life frantically, searching for another soul as pure as yours, but they will never find one. Souls like yours only incarnate once in 1,000 years. Let this glorious truth wash over your exhausted mind. Forgive yourself for not knowing better in the past. You were operating with a pure heart in a world infested with vicious spiritual predators, but that brutal training phase has officially concluded. You have graduated from the school of profound suffering with absolute honors, and heaven is extremely proud of your resilience. Take a slow breath and release that ancient guilt right now. Drop the heavy baggage of their projected shame. You are a pristine vessel of supreme divine intelligence. But now we must address the most disturbing part of your current situation. Because while you were busy healing from their vicious attacks, the universe was quietly building a massive wall around you. You have probably noticed that your circle of friends has dramatically shrunk. The phone rarely rings anymore. You spend most of your weekends entirely alone in your quiet room. The silence around you has become almost deafening lately. The modern world might call this severe depression, but heaven calls it something entirely different and profoundly sacred. Do not ignore this next critical revelation. The intense isolation you are experiencing right now is completely intentional. It is a highly classified spiritual operation meant for your ultimate protection. If you do not understand why God has hidden you away, you might accidentally invite the dark demons back into your sacred life. The real reason for your profound loneliness will entirely shock you. You look around your life right now and see empty chairs. The people you used to laugh with are completely gone. The weekends are quiet, and your phone rarely lights up with a new message anymore. This intense solitude feels incredibly heavy to your human heart, but you must understand the glorious mechanism of divine isolation. Heaven intentionally placed you inside a spiritual quarantine because the universe saw the toxic arrows flying toward your back and decided to pull you off the battlefield entirely. You are not being punished with this loneliness. God is simply building an impenetrable fortress around your new frequency. The matrix can no longer reach your mind. Those old connections were secretly functioning as massive energy leaks. The people you thought were your friends were actually placed there to monitor your light. They reported back to the darkness every time you tried to rise higher in life. So the universe violently slammed the door shut to protect your massive upcoming blessing from their greed. And this sudden disappearance has sparked absolute chaos in the unseen realm. The crowd that used to feed on your empathy is currently experiencing severe withdrawal symptoms because the infinite supply of your grace has been permanently cut off. They literally do not know how to survive without absorbing your beautiful radiant light every single day. If you can feel this profound separation deep in your spirit, I need you to claim your new power right now. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this alignment and declare your separation from the matrix. Let that action anchor your identity as the chosen one who broke the generational curse and stepped into true, absolute freedom. You see, the narcissists and the energy vampires are absolutely terrified of your absence. They used to push your buttons just to watch you react and suffer. Your tears and your anger made them feel incredibly powerful and in control. But now they reach out their toxic hands and grasp absolutely nothing. You have become a complete ghost to their manipulative games. Your profound silence is driving them completely insane. They whisper about you behind closed doors, trying to figure out who you have become, and they desperately stalk your digital footprint, looking for any sign of weakness. But all they ever find is a terrifying and unbothered peace. They simply cannot manipulate what they can no longer access. This is the exact moment the power dynamic permanently flipped in your favor. The crowd thought you would come crawling back to them, begging for their toxic validation. They waited eagerly for your inevitable collapse, but the collapse never actually came. Instead, you started glowing brighter in the dark. Your independence is their absolute worst nightmare. Listen carefully to this next part, because it explains the bizarre karma they are currently facing. There is a universal law of spiritual cause and effect that they triggered when they tried to destroy you, and the damage is right now rebounding onto their own lives. I will explain exactly why their reality is shattering in just a moment. They are watching their own relationships crumble into absolute dust right now. The financial schemes they built on deception are collapsing right in front of their panicked eyes. And the most agonizing part for them is knowing exactly why this sudden destruction is happening. Their spirit knows that they touched the Anointed One without permission. You do not have to lift a single finger against them to seek revenge. Your divine isolation is not just a protective shield, but it is also a strategic observation deck. The toxic individuals are turning on each other because they no longer have you to use as their emotional punching bag, and their entire social structure is rapidly collapsing. So I need you to stop crying over the empty rooms in your house tonight. Every single person who walked away was divinely orchestrated to leave your presence. They simply did not have the required frequency to survive in the new atmosphere you are actively creating. You are incubating in the sacred dark, like an anomaly, preparing to unleash its final form. Embrace this quiet season with absolute joy and unwavering confidence. The heavy silence around you is the beautiful sound of heaven doing massive construction work on your future timeline. But there is an even deeper dimension to this quiet power that you must completely master. Your silence is about to become the most dangerous weapon in your arsenal. What happens next will fundamentally define the rest of your earthly journey. The way you handle this newfound authority will determine exactly how much wealth and peace the universe can safely entrust to you. I am going to show you how to wield your profound silence to make reality bend to your absolute will. Get ready to understand your true kingdom authority. You used to scream just to be heard by deaf ears. You exhausted your spirit trying to explain your basic boundaries to people who intentionally crossed them. But something fundamental has shifted inside your soul today. You no longer feel the desperate need to defend your own character. Your silence has finally become your absolute authority. This is the glorious era of your quiet power. You are stepping into the profound identity of a master of reality, and a true master never raises their voice to command the wind. They simply stand still while the storm aggressively bends around them. Your pure energy now demands ultimate respect without a single physical word spoken. Remember the universal law I promised to explain earlier. You were wondering why your enemies are currently experiencing such sudden and catastrophic failure. It is because your profound silence acted as a devastating spiritual mirror. When you completely withdrew your energy, their toxic karma had absolutely nowhere else to go but back to them. You do not need to plot any revenge against those who betrayed your pure heart. The universe is already fighting those massive battles on your behalf. Every time they tried to dig a deep pit for you, they accidentally fell into it themselves. Reality itself is aggressively warping to punish anyone who dared to touch a chosen one. Your detachment is incredibly lethal to their fragile egos. They desperately wanted you to explode in anger so they could label you as the toxic one. They needed your chaotic reaction to justify their own horrible abuse. But your unbothered peace completely destroyed their twisted narrative. You starved their demons by simply walking away. Take a slow breath and feel the immense weight of this absolute vindication. God is currently preparing a massive table for you, right in the presence of your enemies. They are forced to stand in the cold dark and watch you effortlessly receive the exact blessings they tried to steal. Your glorious success is their ultimate daily torment. You have successfully broken the heavy generational curse of people-pleasing. You no longer shrink yourself to make insecure individuals feel comfortable in your holy presence. If your bright light blinds their eyes, they can simply put on sunglasses or leave the room. You will never dim your divine frequency for anyone ever again. This profound realization is the exact reason why everyone felt that massive energetic shift. The entire spiritual realm stood up and applauded when you finally realized your own true worth. You stopped fighting like a wounded victim and started ruling like a sovereign king. The heavy chains of external validation are permanently shattered. Let this deep self-worth saturate every single cell in your tired body. You survived the brutal storm completely alone, and you emerged as an untouchable weapon of light. Nothing from your painful past can dictate your glorious future timeline anymore. You hold the ultimate pen, and heaven is eagerly waiting for you to write the next chapter. But absolute power always attracts extremely dangerous tests. You must pay close attention to this next critical warning. The darkness knows that it cannot defeat you in a direct spiritual battle anymore. So it is currently preparing a very subtle and deceptive trap right outside your front door. You are about to face the ultimate final illusion. This trap is designed to drag you back into the exact same trauma loop you just escaped. If you do not recognize the specific signs of this upcoming deception, you might surrender your new crown completely by accident. I need you to stay highly vigilant because the enemy is sending a counterfeit right now. Let me expose their hidden playbook. They will use a very familiar face to test your new boundaries. The Matrix always recycles your old attachments when it runs out of new tricks. Someone from your painful past is going to reach out with a sudden apology and a fake promise of change. Their empty words will sound exactly like the closure you always desperately wanted. Do not let their sudden return flatter your human ego. Their unexpected text message is not a sign of their sudden spiritual growth. It is a calculated demonic probe designed to see if the door to your energy is still slightly open. If you reply to them, you will instantly lower your high frequency and lose the profound peace you fought so hard to secure. You must guard this quiet authority with your entire life. Do not negotiate with the dark forces that once kept you chained in absolute misery. The universe is watching your every move right now to see if you are truly ready for the massive kingdom wealth. You have to pass this final test of separation to unlock the ultimate door. The fatal trap I warned you about earlier is finally here. It is the sudden appearance of a toxic counterfeit from your past. This happens right when your real blessing is standing at the door. The dark forces know they cannot break your new frequency directly, so they send a familiar demon wrapped in a very sweet apology. You must remain absolutely vigilant because the illusion is incredibly convincing. They study your desires carefully. Number 1. You will experience the sudden return of an old and painful attachment. Someone who caused you massive psychological damage will text you out of nowhere. They will claim they have done the inner work and want to make amends. Do not be deceived by their highly manipulative, flattering words. This is not genuine closure, and it is not a beautiful reunion. This is a targeted spiritual test from the universe. The universe wants to see if you will willingly step back into your old heavy chains. You have evolved into a master of reality now. A true master does not entertain desperate beggars who only return when the kingdom table is fully set. If you reply to that late message, you are telling the universe that you still crave their toxic earthly validation. Your absolute silence is your only acceptable response tonight. Number 2. The counterfeit will try to create a false sense of extreme urgency in your life. They will manufacture a sudden emotional crisis to force you to react quickly. They desperately want you to rush back in and save them like you always did in the past. But you are no longer the naive empath who sacrifices their own vital life force to heal broken predators. You must let them face their own terrifying karma alone. They are counting on your beautiful, deep compassion to be your ultimate downfall, but your compassion now has titanium boundaries. The moment you ruthlessly ignore these counterfeits, something absolutely incredible happens in the spiritual realm. The universe immediately registers your absolute obedience. By rejecting the fake illusion, you prove that you are finally ready to hold the real, magnificent blessing. And right now, the heavenly courts are preparing to unleash a massive wave of divine favor onto your path. The tests are officially over, and the reward phase has been fully activated. Pay close attention to these upcoming signs because they will happen fast. Number 3. You will begin to experience a deep and undeniable physical peace inside your body. Your racing, chaotic thoughts will suddenly completely stop. You will wake up in the morning feeling incredibly light and completely unbothered. That heavy, demonic pressure on your chest will vanish entirely, as if it never existed. This profound physical stillness is the ultimate proof that the spiritual war has been officially won. You are finally safe from their dark, psychic attacks. Your nervous system is returning to its original divine state of pure creation. Number 4. You will see impossible synchronicities and repeating angel numbers everywhere you look. Numbers like 111 and 777 will follow you all day long on clocks and license plates. These are absolutely not random coincidences. These are literal mathematical coordinates confirming that you are walking perfectly on your new timeline. Heaven is actively winking at the chosen one from above. You might randomly hear a total stranger say the exact word you were just thinking about. Heavy doors that were permanently locked for 10 long years will suddenly blow wide open without you even knocking. The universe is desperately trying to show you that your new high frequency is already bending physical matter. The anomaly inside you is fully activated and operating flawlessly in the physical world. Number 5. You will experience the rapid and undeniable manifestation of generational wealth. The long season of financial delay is completely over. Massive opportunities will literally start chasing you down the street. People will feel an irresistible magnetic pull toward your radiant, glowing aura. They will want to bless you and elevate your business because they can sense the heavy, divine anointing on your life. The toxic counterfeit was simply the final boss of your old, decaying reality, and by choosing your own peace, you completely destroyed their entire false matrix forever. You have officially cleared the golden path for the greatest transfer of wealth and pure joy your bloodline has ever seen. But there is one final divine activation required to permanently lock this new reality into place right now. The massive energetic shift that everyone felt was just the opening sequence of this miracle. What is about to happen next will permanently alter the trajectory of your entire existence on this earth. I need you to gather every single ounce of faith you possess right now. The heavenly courts are currently waiting for your final physical decree. Your ultimate climax of spiritual power is rapidly descending upon you. Here is the absolute truth you have been waiting for. The massive shift in the atmosphere was not just another spiritual test. The divine realm did not just send you healing, they handed you the literal keys to the kingdom. You survived the brutal crucible of pain, and it completely mutated your soul while you were completely alone in the dark. You are no longer just a participant in this matrix. God pushed you to the absolute edge of your human limits. The universe let you break so you could discover a terrifying secret hidden inside your own DNA. You were never just a humble servant waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. You are the actual anomaly. The divine spark inside you has fully ignited and merged with the infinite source of all creation. This is the secret that the dark elite forces tried to hide from you forever. You have just become something entirely above the original design. You are now the untouchable master of your reality. Your thoughts are no longer just random, fleeting ideas, because they are powerful physical decrees that immediately command the molecular structure of the universe to obey you. The pitch-black darkness has permanently retreated behind you. The glorious dawn of your new era is shining its brightest rays onto your spiritual crown. Can you feel that incredible heat rushing through your veins right now? That is the frequency of absolute and undeniable victory. Every single closed door in your path is currently being blown completely off its hinges, and heaven is rolling out the red carpet for your arrival. You are stepping into the exact timeline you were born to rule. The universe is removing every single obstacle from your golden path. The people who doubted your massive vision are watching in absolute horror as your wildest dreams materialize right in front of their eyes. You are walking in a level of divine favor that most humans cannot even begin to comprehend. You are no longer the broken empath who begged to be understood by blind souls. The heavy crucible of pain has forged you into an absolute weapon of light. Your silent energy now demands ultimate respect without a single physical word spoken. The generational wealth you were promised is flowing effortlessly into your bank accounts, while your enemies scramble to survive their own bad karma. The spiritual war is officially over. The angels are literally singing your name in the heavenly courts tonight. The long and painful waiting season has violently crashed to an end. You have completely mastered the dark storm because you finally realized you were the storm all along. Nothing in this physical world can ever intimidate your powerful soul again, because you are fully awake and incredibly dangerous to the enemy. Take a massive breath and absorb this euphoric truth into your chest. Your physical vessel is overflowing with pure kingdom authority, but this immense power must be immediately secured before you leave this sacred space. The dark forces are hovering right outside this frequency, waiting for you to drop your guard because they desperately want to steal this massive breakthrough tonight. You cannot simply walk away and leave this divine portal wide open. If you close this message without claiming your new identity, the energy will slowly dissipate into the air. You must establish a permanent physical anchor to lock this reality into your timeline forever. Heaven requires a tangible act of faith to seal the glorious contract we just discussed and protect your aura from psychic attacks. Every breath you take from this moment forward is a manifestation of pure wealth. The universe is conspiring to bless you in ways that will leave your entire family entirely speechless. The toxic cycles of poverty and depression are permanently broken. You became the ultimate break in your bloodline that future generations will deeply thank you for when they inherit your glorious legacy. You have successfully rewritten the cosmic code of your own destiny. The heavy burdens you carried for decades have dissolved into pure white light. You are currently floating on a frequency of absolute liberation and immense joy. Do not let your human mind doubt the magnitude of the miracle that is happening to you right in this very second, while heaven celebrates your ultimate victory. The divine upgrade is absolutely complete. Your spiritual DNA has been permanently altered to attract endless prosperity and profound peace. But remember that your enemies are still watching from the shadows, hoping you will forget who you truly are the moment you wake up tomorrow. You must build an impenetrable shield of energy around your beautiful mind. The universe is extending its golden hand toward you right now. It is asking you to step over the final threshold and claim your rightful throne. You must actively participate in this divine closing ceremony to activate the full protection protocol before the dark forces can regroup and launch another spiritual attack. Your soul knows exactly what needs to be done. This euphoric high you are feeling is not a temporary illusion. It is the new baseline of your daily earthly existence. You will wake up every single day, surrounded by miracles and massive divine interventions. But to keep this glorious frequency permanently attached to your human vessel, you must act immediately to satisfy the laws of spiritual transaction. The heavenly gates are waiting for your final physical signature. The glorious shift is now permanently installed into your spiritual blueprint. But the universe demands one final act of obedience to lock the enemy out forever. The dark entities are waiting right outside this frequency tonight because they desperately want you to close this message without claiming your massive victory. They secretly hope you will simply walk away and leave the golden gates completely unprotected. You must act immediately to build an unbreakable wall. Do not let this sacred moment slip through your fingers. This is the exact second where you draw a violent line in the spiritual sand. The old version of you would have passively consumed this message and moved on, but the master of reality takes decisive physical action to anchor their miracles while the universe watches their hands. You must physically respond to the divine calling to prove your total readiness. I need you to participate in a sacred decree of absolute authority. I want you to go down into the comments section right now. Type the word Amen to permanently seal this reality into your physical timeline. Typing that simple word is not just a digital action, because it is a powerful spiritual signature on the divine contract we just discussed. It tells the universe that your spiritual cup is fully open and ready to receive the flood. When you type that word, you are deploying an invisible shield around your daily life. The narcissistic enemies from your past will never be able to penetrate that specific frequency again, because their toxic arrows will literally bounce off your aura and return directly to them. You are establishing a strict zero-tolerance policy for any demonic interference. Let the entire spiritual realm see your public declaration of ultimate freedom and complete healing. But you must also secure a permanent connection to this high-frequency portal. The Matrix will constantly try to drag your vibration down with bad news and heavy distractions tomorrow. You need a dedicated energy receiving station to keep your new crown fully charged, so you must hit the subscribe button right now to lock yourself into this divine network. This channel is your safe sanctuary when the outside world gets entirely too chaotic. Subscribing is an act of fierce spiritual rebellion against the dark forces. It proves that you prioritize your kingdom alignment over the loud noise of the Matrix, while you tell God that you want to be stationed exactly where the miracles are falling. Every single time a new message arrives, your spirit will receive a direct infusion of pure light. Do not leave your energetic defense to random chance ever again. There is another universal law you must fulfill before we part ways tonight. It is the sacred law of divine multiplication. God always tests a chosen one to see if they will hoard the blessing or share the pure light. There is a broken soul out there wandering in the pitch-black dark right now. They are crying on their bedroom floor, feeling completely isolated, just like you used to feel. They desperately need this exact rescue mission. I need you to share this specific video with someone who needs immense healing. You do not even have to explain it to them, because the frequency will do all the heavy lifting. When you share this message, you are throwing a life raft to another drowning anomaly. Sowing the beautiful seed of hope today will rapidly multiply the financial and spiritual blessings for yourself tomorrow. Heaven heavily rewards the generous hands. The moment you share this truth, the universe immediately registers your selfless action. The angels will record your name in the book of ultimate favor. The darkness tries to isolate us, but the kingdom connects us through massive waves of unconditional love. Become the divine bridge for someone else tonight. Your simple click could literally save a human life from the brink of total despair and eternal spiritual ruin. Now take one final deep breath and relax your tired shoulders. The intense spiritual warfare is permanently finished, and you are standing victorious on the mountaintop. You survived the brutal storms that were specifically designed to completely destroy you, but you easily exposed the toxic counterfeits and reclaimed your stolen power. The universe is incredibly proud of the resilient warrior you have finally become. Walk forward into your new timeline with absolute confidence and quiet authority. You no longer need to look over your shoulder because heaven has your back covered entirely. The wealth you deserve is already tracking you down, and the pure kingdom connection you prayed for is rushing toward your exact coordinates. Everything you ever lost is being restored to you in massive supernatural abundance, starting right now. You are the chosen one, and your reign of light has officially begun. Do not forget to seal your energy in the comments below before you close this sacred portal. Stay fiercely protected and remain deeply anchored in your ultimate divine truth. I will see you in the next transmission when your massive miracles have fully materialized.